Welcome to Hero Villains. Thank you for always watching and supporting the channel. According to you, Death Seed Sentry vs Chaos War Hercules, the clash between two demigod entities with cosmic power, who will win? Death Seed Sentry, the transformed version of Sentry after being injected with Death Seed by Apocalypse, is an entity that combines human will and evil power. Sentry already has the power to destroy a million suns, but when affected by Death Seed, he becomes a form of pure destruction, almost like a walking death god. No longer a human with moral limits, Death Seed Sentry is the embodiment of emotionlessness, possessing near infinite regeneration, cosmic power, and the ability to distort reality to a terrible extent. Chaos War Hercules is the embodiment of the god of power after being enhanced in the Chaos War event. In this state, Hercules not only overcomes gods like Zeus or Odin, but also defeats abstract entities like Nightmare, Chaos King's army, and even cosmic creatures. No longer a simple drinking and fighting hero, Chaos War Hercules is a cosmic warrior who possesses the power of all gods and an indomitable will. Please click the analysis. Please click the subscribe button. Please remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. The Death Seed Sentry is an entity that embodies the destructive evolution of the character, the Sentry, after being injected with the Death Seed. Originally, the Sentry was the superhero identity of Robert Reynolds, who possessed the power to release energy equivalent to 1,000,000 exploding suns. However, upon contact with the Death Seed, an ancient entity of a dark nature that is the opposite of the Life Seed, the Sentry was completely transformed, becoming an entity with the ability to destroy on a cosmic scale. The Death Seed, in contrast to the Life Seed, which is an energy source associated with life and creation, represents corruption, degeneration, and the end of existence. When it merged with the Sentry, it not only greatly enhanced his physical and mental abilities, but also distorted his remaining humanity, making him an uncontrollable threat, comparable to high-level cosmic entities. Death Seed Sentry possesses almost unparalleled abilities: superior physical strength, absolute physical durability, the ability to fly at supersonic speeds, near limitless cellular regeneration, and especially an immortal state that makes all attempts to destroy him meaningless. This entity also has the ability to manipulate energy on a massive scale, can break the structure of reality, even threatening the entire balance of life in the universe. With its power amplified by the Death Seed, this entity is capable of destroying both divine entities and creatures that exist outside of space. Death Seed Sentry also possesses the ability to resist reality manipulation. This means that even entities that can bend or rewrite the laws of the universe still face great obstacles when facing him. The ability to manipulate energy on a cosmic level allows Sentry to create, absorb, or destroy forms of energy that are the essence of reality. In other words, he can influence the flow of energy in an entire dimension, even the multiverse. However, the most worrying point lies in the mental state of the Death Seed Sentry. The combination of Robert Reynolds' human ego and the negative influence of the Death Seed has created an unstable mental entity. The remaining human part is not only overwhelmed, but also distorted by madness, hallucinations, and a thirst for destruction. This makes him extremely dangerous, but lacking in control, often dominated by extreme emotions and internal obsession. It is the combination of unlimited power and unstable mental state that makes the Death Seed Sentry an unpredictable threat. The Golden Sentry has repeatedly won against the Void entity, which is considered the most powerful dark side of Robert Reynolds' own being. Despite some bitter defeats in the past, the Pure Sentry has shown the ability to control and dominate the Void in most confrontations. In its Death Seed form, where the Sentry's powers are amplified to absurd levels, the entity is able to repel or even destroy a Void version from the same era with great speed and brutality. In its appearance against Thor, the Death Seed Sentry demonstrated such superior abilities that an Asgardian war god struggled to defend against it. It shows a remarkable increase not only in physical strength but also in fighting spirit. The Death Seed Sentry is no longer the timid, internally torn character he once was, but has become an aggressive, reckless entity devoid of human emotions and virtually immune to fear or regret. If the Void continues to fight back violently, he will be confronted by an entity he has never seen before. The Death Seed Sentry is completely dominated by madness, overconfidence, and no longer bound by any moral limits. He will not fight for control of the void as he did before, but will seek to destroy it. He displays a high degree of confidence, almost delusional in his own power, and does not hesitate to claim that death and rebirth have completely transformed him into a new being. In his chaotic delirium, he once declared himself the Ancient Mariner, a vague metaphor reflecting his unstable and somewhat paranoid mental state. This confidence can be a double-edged sword. If his opponents are clever enough to exploit his subjective psychology and oversized ego, Death Seed Sentry can be drawn into strategic mistakes. Void Sentry in many stories has been portrayed as one of the most formidable entities in the universe. Even characters with overwhelming power like Molecule Man, who can restructure all matter at will, cannot easily defeat him. He tore Ares, the god of war of Olympus, to pieces in the middle of the battle. Not stopping there, he also brought the entire universe to its end, an act that can only be performed by entities at the level of near omnipotence. However, when compared to Cosmic Armor Superman, also known as Thought Robot, the situation is completely reversed. Thought Robot is a transcendent entity created by the Monitors, a combination of two opposing entities, Superman and Ultraman, to fight against the ultimate threat, a vampire that corrodes the universe. This is not a normal version of Superman, but a thinking entity capable of reacting at will. Exists at the level of the multiverse, even reaching the omniversal level. Cosmic Armor Superman not only overcame that enemy, but defeated it by pushing its entire existence to the Overmonitor, a supreme being in DC Comics even above the Presence. Thought Robot's ability allows him to negate the existence of any entity, regardless of whether they exist in reality or are just potential concepts. Although Void Sentry is one of the most powerful and terrifying entities when standing before Cosmic Armor Superman, he almost has no chance. Thought Robot simply needs to wish that Sentry never existed, and it can become a reality immediately. In this confrontation, there are only two entities in the entire universe that can put themselves on par with Thought Robot, the one above all in Marvel, and the Overmonitor in DC. When a powerful character is quickly defeated to highlight the power of the new enemy, one of the most prominent examples is when Sentry is killed by Null. However, it is worth mentioning that even in that situation he survived. After being literally torn apart, Thor, the god of thunder of Asgard, was once knocked back by the terrible destructive power of Sentry. He can confront the second strongest version of Hulk, a creature known for its ability to increase its strength exponentially due to rage, the dark side of Sentry. He once destroyed the entire Annihilus army with ease, and only a very few of the most powerful entities in the universe can resist him in this state, Death Seed Sentry. The Avengers who became enemies Apocalypse and the Horsemen of Death were the ones who indirectly led Sentry into the Death Seed state, a form that transformed him from a superhero tormented by morality into a mad entity with a desire for total destruction. This was the moment when Sentry was no longer Robert Reynolds, but became the embodiment of absolute uncontrollable power. Please subscribe to the channel, it will help us a lot, and moreover, you will see great videos every day. You are the best, thank you very much. Chaos War, Hercules the Greek god, famous for his extraordinary strength, has reached an unprecedented level of power when he became the embodiment of chaos to fight against total destruction. After absorbing all the power of the fallen Olympic gods, he evolved far beyond the limits of a normal god, possessing such superior abilities that he could be on par with, even surpassing many powerful superheroes such as Thor, Hulk, or Sentry in their basic state. Hercules is not just a warrior, but becomes an entity of cosmic proportions. He has the ability to manipulate reality at will, immune to both physical and magical forms of destruction. In addition, Hercules can also summon or destroy other supernatural entities. The confrontation between Hercules and Amatsu Mikaboshi, an ancient entity that symbolizes nothingness and destruction, is the clearest proof of the unparalleled power he possesses. Mikaboshi was once considered a threat that could wipe out the entire universe, but Hercules, as the embodiment of chaos, fought him alone, becoming the last flame that protected the existence of all things. In the darkest moment, after reaching the state of true omnipotence and absolute omniscience, Hercules completely surpassed his inherent physical limits, He was no longer just a warrior with superhuman strength, but became an entity with the ability to perceive, understand, and manipulate every aspect of the universe absolutely. He further received an additional source of power from Gaia, the goddess of the earth, and one of the ancient beings deeply connected to the primordial essence of life. This increase in power took Hercules to a level far beyond that of most other entities in the universe, transforming him into an unstoppable cosmic force. Hercules defeated Amatsu Makaboshi, also known as the Chaos King. To get an idea of the terror of this enemy, it is worth remembering that Makaboshi was once able to easily rip out the heart of Zeus, one of the most powerful gods, without encountering any significant resistance. Yet Hercules overcame him, proving that his power was no longer limited by any rules or laws in the universe. Hercules not only prevented the complete collapse of reality, but also performed a great act of cosmic proportions. He restored the entire multiverse to its original state, completely reconstructing every object, phenomenon, and being that had been destroyed by the Chaos King. This act was not only a demonstration of power, but also a reflection of responsibility. Few characters have ever achieved the level of influence and creative power that Hercules has. Some have compared Hercules in his Chaos War state to Rune King Thor, one of the most powerful states of the Asgardian god of thunder. Unfortunately, however, Hercules' omnipotence was short-lived. After defeating Amatsu Mikaboshi and recreating the entire multiverse from the ashes of destruction, Hercules chose to give up his boundless power. In his Chaos King state, Hercules possesses physical strength far beyond that of any ordinary Olympian being. He can lift massive objects with ease, crush or restrain powerful superhumans with his bare hands. His healing factor is also superhuman, allowing him to regenerate from injuries that would kill almost any other living being. Hercules' body seems to have merged with the chaos energy, granting him a form of temporary immortality, where death is no longer a limitation. It is this regenerative ability tied to his chaotic nature that makes Hercules a formidable opponent on any battlefield. Be it ancient enemies or cosmic entities of legendary power, few can face him head-on without paying a heavy price. Chaos King Hercules is a being of power beyond the realm of the divine. He can emit energy blasts of tremendous intensity, enough to cause widespread devastation, warping reality and affecting the very fabric of the multiverse. In his climactic rebellion, Hercules defeated all the gods residing on Mount Olympus, including Zeus, who is considered Odin's counterpart in Norse mythology. To understand Zeus's power, it is worth remembering that Odin once demonstrated the ability to stop the destructive fire that was the essence of Yggdrasil, the embodiment of the entire multiverse. Even in his weakened state, Odin was still able to tear apart reality on all levels when confronting the entity Seth. Yet, Chaos King Hercules still overwhelmingly surpassed Zeus, showing that his power was far beyond the limits of the gods. Chaos King Hercules once defeated a character known as the Impossible Man, an entity with reality-bending abilities somewhat similar to MZIZZPGRETLK. He eliminated this person easily, almost without any obstacles. He also killed Nightmare, the entity that ruled the dimension of dreams, and absorbed all of this person's power. When confronting Hercules in his enhanced form, Chaos King Hercules still had the absolute upper hand. This confrontation clearly demonstrated his overwhelming nature, an embodiment of pure chaos against both order and the will of the universe. When he was so badly injured that he seemed unable to continue to exist, he was still able to absorb almost all that remained of reality, including entities as great as the Silver Surfer and Galactus. After consuming all of these energies, Chaos King Hercules transformed into his primal form, revealing his true nature. An all-powerful being of chaos, unbound by any cosmic structure, and an ultimate threat to all living beings in the multiverse. Hercules also came into conflict with Zeus and Hera at various points, particularly over his power and role in the divine order of Olympus. One of the most notable events was when he was seduced and magically manipulated by the Enchantress, also known as Amora. Under her influence, Hercules lost control and turned against the Avengers, becoming the enemy of his former allies. Although he later regained his sanity and broke free from the control, his actions still had serious consequences. Zeus, in a rage and unable to accept the lack of transparency in Hercules' journey to Earth, However, instead of breaking down, Hercules chose to continue his journey as a protector, supporting the group in many important battles against the forces of darkness. He fought alongside his teammates against dangerous enemies such as the Triumvirate of Terror, a group of 3 warriors who spread violence and chaos, Esteban Corazon Diablo, commonly known as Diablo, a smart but ruthless chemical wizard, Dragon Man, a creature with wild strength and instincts, along with Alexei Shostakov, aka Red Guardian, and the replicant entity Super Adaptoid. Through these battles, Hercules not only proved his loyalty and bravery, but also redefined his role as not an aloof god, but a hero living among men, fighting for justice and order in an ever-changing world. After the dimensions were shattered, the order of reality collapsed rapidly, plunging Earth into unprecedented chaos. The boundaries between dimensions seemed to be torn apart, allowing dangerous entities and uncontrollable energies to enter. Hercules received direct power from eternity, the embodiment of the entire sentient universe, Death Seed Sentry. With the seeds of destruction deep within him, he carried the energy capable of eradicating all forms of life, including those that existed outside the physical universe. Sentry was no longer a superhero with humanity, but a pure storm of destruction. After receiving a dire warning from eternity about the danger, Hercules headed to the nexus of realities, the intersection of all realities. Hercules opened the battle with a divine attack called God Blast. This cosmic strike was so powerful that it sent the Sentry through millions of dimensions, shattering galaxies and disrupting space-time at a fundamental level. However, the Death Seed Sentry was not defeated so easily. He quickly adapted and unleashed his terrifying ability, splitting into countless void entities, each with its own negative essence and power equivalent to a separate destructive entity. These entities spread like a plague across the universe, and each one began to obliterate regions of space, tearing planets apart, draining life, and causing dimensions to disappear. Hercules, in a decisive moment, summoned the memories and essences of the ancient Greek gods who had fallen, infusing his soul with pure mythical power. The fusion brought Hercules to a new level of power. Hercules was now a crystallization of myth, history, and ancient power. Facing the Death Seed Sentry, both entities had surpassed all limits. The laws of space and time are warped. Their attacks not only shake the dimensions, but also cause dangerous rifts in the flow of time across the entire multiverse. The Sentry, pushed to his limits, has completely released the Death Seed, a malevolent, destructive energy. He is no longer a living being, but the Oblivion Host, a unity of destruction and unconsciousness, beyond all concepts of life and death. No longer distinguishing between enemies or allies, he is an entity representing the ultimate end, where all forms of existence are consumed. In the face of this threat, Hercules takes a step closer to godhood. He merges with the Logos, an entity representing the universal mind, the ultimate symbol of the balance between order and chaos. This union not only strengthens Hercules, but also allows him to maintain his sanity in a broken reality. In his new form, he is no longer a Greek god or a superhero, but the last gatekeeper of reason and hope. A final collision has occurred. The pressure released by the final blow between Hercules and the Oblivion Host Sentry is so strong that all of reality is pulled towards a singularity. There, all physical laws dissolve, all concepts of space, time, and consciousness are crushed into nothingness. The universe seems to stop breathing, and in that brief moment, the fate of all living beings hangs between extinction and rebirth. When the dust of the cosmic battle settles, space becomes eerily silent. All of reality has been drawn into the singularity. In the midst of that infinite void, only one figure remains standing. Hercules, he now the embodiment of the restored universe. With his immunity to all forms of destruction and his mind expanded to a level beyond space and time, Hercules performed a final act of absolute finality. He used all of his divine power and knowledge from the Logos to create a closed time structure, an endless loop, where the Sentry was completely sealed. The Death Seed, the evil seed that had nearly destroyed everything, was locked away forever. There was no fanfare or triumph, only eternal silence. But in that silence, victory was decided. Hercules not only survived, but also restored the order of the universe with his own reason and strength. The final winner is Chaos War Hercules. I hope you enjoyed this battle. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much.